So a new Cold War is beginning. There's simply just no doubt about that. Russia and China are getting together, and China is coming out of their COVID lockdowns, and they have a new confidence, and they think they now are big enough and strong enough to put their fingerprint on the way the world works. And because of our failing institutions, we are not ready to meet them. The military, of course, is first. Biden's new budget doesn't fund the military anywhere near enough. And Xi and the Chinese are building up their defenses, especially at sea. And they're meeting, Putin and Xi are meeting, and they're kind of casting themselves as the peacemakers in the Ukraine battle, which, as I've said, I disagree with anybody who is absolutely sure what we should do about Ukraine, because I don't think anybody can be absolutely sure. I think we stumbled into it by making a lot of mistakes, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't finish it. We certainly shouldn't let it drag on the way we are doing it now. These two guys, Xi and Putin, are authoritarian gangsters, and what they do is they say that they are being oppressed by Western imperialists who are selling decadence to the world. And the problem we have is that we are Western imperialists selling decadence to the world. The Chinese have a version of TikTok. It's called Douyin. I think that's how it's pronounced. And they limit the time that children can be on. Age of 14, you have to get your name authenticated. They make sure who you are. They turn it off for you after 10 p.m., between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. Young people can't use it. Government regulators have banned minors from playing online video games on school days. State-run media has slammed online games as spiritual opium. And, the other thing is that they've banned sexual deviance on TV. If you're a entertainer with a strong gay, appearance, you're done. They will not let you on. But meanwhile, here, not so much. This TikTok, a little bit of it is owned by a Chinese company, but it's what's called a golden percentage, where they have a place on the board, which means they are simply a funnel to the Chinese Communist Party. It is a tool. TikTok is a tool of the Chinese Communist Party. And so this is what we're getting on TikTok. Here's this guy, Jeffrey Marsh, who I think I don't understand why he's not in prison. He's cut 15.
It's that time of year again when you start thinking about going no contact. I want to encourage you and say something you may not have heard before. You're going to love it. I know right now all you have is a world and a wall of guilt. And every time you think about going no contact, you just feel this thing in your chest and in your stomach, and you don't want to be that person, and how could you? But she's your mother, and all the stuff that culture tells you. In 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, the joy that your life has will make everything not only worth it, but it'll make you content, happy, calm, and in love with life.
So he's telling you not to talk to your parents if you think you might be gay or trans, if you've been talked into this transgender thing, which is a psychological fad a little bit. It's very rare in real life, but it's spreading, especially among girls. He's telling you not to be out of contact with your parents. He's a groomer. He is a groomer. And that should be against the law. But China, you'll notice, is doing nothing to keep that from getting to our kids at 3 a.m. Like our kids don't turn off their stuff when Chinese kids do. So in what had to be the comically worst appearance before a congressional committee, TikTok's CEO, his name is something like Chu Zhi-Shu, comes up and is questioned. And here is Georgia's Buddy Carter talking to him. He's asking him about challenges that have killed kids. They'll have these challenges to drink stuff like called Borg, which is a mixture of alcohol and other stuff, and take Benadryl and so on. And children have died. And so the first thing Buddy Carter asks him, congressman from Georgia, asks him is, how do you establish, what age someone is when they go on TikTok? Here's their exchange.
We're talking about children dying. Do you know how many children have died because of this? Do you have any idea? Can you tell me?
Congressman, again, it's heartbreaking.
Can you tell me how many children in America have died because of challenges like this?
The majority of people who use our platform use it for positive experiences.
That's not what I ask you. I ask you, tell me the number of children, of U.S. children who have died because of these challenges.
Congressman, again, the majority of people who come on our platform get a good experience.
I'm not talking about the majority of children. I want to know a number.
Dangerous challenges are not allowed on our platform. If we find them, we will remove them. We take this very seriously.
Obviously, you found one today and you removed it. We had to bring it to your attention, and I know I'm out of time. Thank you for being here. Welcome again to the most bipartisan committee in Congress.
They all hate him. They all hate him. But here's the problem. I mean, everybody, he just was obviously hiding the fact that China is pumping this garbage into the minds of American kids. They know what they're doing. I mean, they're doing it on purpose. They like us decadent and falling apart. So here's the problem. The House is also looking at a Republican-backed bill called the Parents' Rights Bill, right? And all it really says is that parents should be allowed to know what their children are being taught, to know what books are in their children's libraries, and should have the absolute right to go before a school board and voice their complaints. Listen to AOC's response to this, cut 14.
They are asking the Republican Party to keep culture wars out of classrooms. Our children need urgent and aggressive educational solutions. The American Library Association coming out against this Republican proposal. When we talk about progressive values, I can say what my progressive value is, and that is freedom over fascism.
All right, so she's an ignoramus, and why does she dance around when she talks? Why can't she stand still when she talks? What has she got, like plugs in her ears playing disco? I mean, it's ridiculous. All right, anyway, so it's fascism for parents to want to be able to know what their children are doing. And we know there's a reason for that. You know, she calls it a culture war because what they want to do is win a culture war by terrorism and stealth. They want to be in our schools with a guy like that, Jeffrey Marsh, teaching our children, but they don't want parents to know about it. That's what's fascist about it. It's fascist if the government is not in control of our children. So that's what they're selling. Now, here is a woman named, one of the witnesses here testifying about all this was a woman named Nadine Farid Johnson, who's from PEN America, which I actually used to belong to a long, long time ago. Very, very left-wing defender of writers' rights, but only left-wing writers. So this is the exchange she has with Wyoming Congresswoman Harriet Hagman.
Ms. Johnson, I just have a real quick question for you. Do you believe it is censorship to prohibit teachers from exposing first graders to Penthouse magazine?
Do I believe it is I'm sorry, ma'am. Do I believe it's censorship to?
Do you believe it is censorship to prohibit teachers from exposing first graders to Penthouse magazine?
I don't know of any instances in which
That isn't my question. My question is, do you believe that it is censorship to prohibit teachers from exposing first graders to Penthouse magazine?
I believe that it is important that we have parents, teachers, and educators.
You are not going to answer my question then, is that right?
I believe it is important to have parents, teachers, and educators involved in understanding what is being presented to students.
Do you believe that it is appropriate to present Penthouse to first graders?
Of course not.
Thank you. I yield back.
She couldn't get the words out. She couldn't say, yeah, no, we should not be doing that. They think it's censorship. It is absolutely true when you put literal gay porn in an elementary school, never mind gay porn, any porn in an elementary school, they think it's banning books when parents say, take that stuff out of my kids' schools. So the Chinese are pumping this decadence into our lives in the person of guys like Jeffrey Marsh and all the rest of the people who come flowing through TikTok without being censored and with no hold on how old the kids are who are watching it and what time they're watching it and whether their parents know that they're watching it. Nothing whatsoever about that. So all that stuff is flowing through. And the Democrats are doing the same thing in our schools. So what does it matter to us who owns TikTok or not? Where is the Cold War here? There is no Cold War, just a bunch of Republicans who the guys are calling Mago Republic, evil MAGA, culture war, fascist Republicans who are basically saying what the hell is going on and do not realize how badly the institution of our schools has collapsed. They don't understand how terrible this is. So they think that's a bipartisan committee, but it's not. All the Democrats want from TikTok is they want the information that the Chinese are getting instead of giving it to the Chinese. They want to pump the poison in instead of the Chinese. So what the hell is the difference to the rest of us? Because this is an institution that has collapsed. It's the school and the Democrat Party, which has absolutely collapsed as well. Same thing with spying. This is a great cut. Shu Chu gets asked if the Chinese are spying on us by Neil Dunn of Florida.
The project assigned this to a Beijing-led team, and they were going to follow individual American citizens. I ask you again, Mr. Chu, has ByteDance spied on American citizens?
I don't think the spying is the right way to describe it.
All right.
This is ultimately...
We can differ on that.
This is ultimately an internal
Any
investigation.
TikTok or ByteDance data that is viewed, stored, or passes through China is subject to the laws of China, one-party authoritarian state hostile to all American standards of privacy.
So okay, they're spying on us, and this means that every time somebody signs on, they can take your keystrokes, they can take everywhere you go. You know how this works because Google uses it to sell you ads. You know, you're sitting in your living room talking about, gee, I need a new pair of shoes, and suddenly shoe ads show up on your computer. I mean, we know they can do this stuff, and they do it. So now it's the Chinese doing it, and the Chinese collecting this kind of information on American citizens. But we also know that the Democrat Party was collaborating and colluding with all of the social media sites to silence any information that went against what the regime was selling. Vaccines, lockdowns, transgenderism. If I can say things about transgenderism right now, right here, and YouTube will shut us down. They will demonetize us. They'll censor us. Why? Not because YouTube has any information about this, but because this is what they are selling us. So basically what they're saying is we don't want the Chinese to be in control of information. We want to be in control of information. And the Republicans, again, are just playing defense all the time on a team that doesn't exist. It's a team that doesn't exist. If all of our corporations, if our business world, if the Better Business Bureau essentially has gone woke, then that's an institution that has also broken. We don't understand how empty these institutions are and how much we have to start again and how much we have to start them again. All of us, everybody has to start to insist that we are not going to do this. We are not going to play along. How do we fight a Cold War if we're as bad as our enemies say we are? The government, which screwed up COVID, which can't defend us or win a war or float the banks, is trying to protect us for what? So that they can sell us the same garbage that the Chinese are happy to sell us. All the Chinese want the money. The government wants the money. The American corporations want the money. All these guys are wrapped up. All of our government people are wrapped up with Meta, Facebook, and Alphabet that owns Google. They're all colluding together. We know this from the Twitter files. So what is the difference? They have got to fix themselves before they can fix China and before they can beat China. But the problem they have now is they have abandoned their purpose, which is to defend our rights, and they've abandoned the rule of law. For more spectacular Klavan-y goodness, like and subscribe to The Andrew Klavan Show wherever you get your podcasts.